May we have the roll call, please?
Authority members: Draymond.
Here.
Friedman.
Here.
Mincy.
Here.
Barazian.
Here.
Quintero. Weaver.
Here.
Chairman Najarian.
Here. May we have your report?
The agenda for the December 1st, 2009 regular meeting of the Glendale Housing Authority was posted on Wednesday, November 25, 2009 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you. The next item, please.
Next item is approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any abstentions?
Yes.
Okay.
On November 24th for free.
Okay. Anyone on November 10th?
I don't think so.
Yes.
Okay. With those abstentions noted and with no other corrections, the minutes will be approved as submitted. Next item, please.
Next item is oral communication. There was a card. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the Housing Authority may question or respond to a speaker, but there will be no debate or decision, and the matter may be referred to staff through the Executive Director for investigation and report.
Thank you. I have one card submitted by Herbert Milano.
Good afternoon. Housing Authority Chair Najarian, members of the Housing Authority and city staff. My name is Herbert Milano. For the past 8 years, I've sort of become reluctantly a student of municipal government, and now I feel that I'm finally getting my arms around the issues concerning, or the dynamics on how policy is made and how decisions are made. One of the triggers for my interest in city government rests with a question as to why no policy direction followed the extensive study of the status of youth in Glendale back in 2001. No action. There were many recommendations. It was almost like a blue ribbon panel of individuals really concerned about youth, recommendations concerning budgetary changes and support, and no action. And things like this trigger, my interest, because it was one of the topics that I studied when I was in college, and I remember writing a paper for one of my creative problem-solving classes at UCLA concerning the status of the juvenile justice system back then. But now, all these decades later, the problems are significantly worse than they were back then. And yet, I find that the entities in charge who could actually do make a difference rarely pay attention to it, at least not from the municipal level. So I was watching a program just recently on the state of the funding for the California budget and new options of how to recreate this whole process. And there were a couple of numbers that really astonished me, and I think will astonish you as well. We spend in California around $9,000 per pupil in education, for public education. But when you listen to the number of how much we spend to incarcerate young people, it'll just blow your mind. It did mine. $216,000 a year for every single individual who is in the juvenile justice system. $216,000. And so we have a state budget that is in a severe deficit, and primarily top-heavy on all of these issues having to do with justice and policing and prisons and all the aftercare issues that concern the incredible recidivism that we have of individuals going right back into it. And I find that at the city level, we have almost no interest, very little. Back in 2001, we found out that we spent about 1% of the city's budget on youth. And that's including police and libraries and parks and so forth. 1%. 2.4% of the general fund. And so I wonder, why aren't these issues being tackled? And it is that question that really continues to nag at me, that when we have a city that has been fairly stable financially, compared to any other city in Southern California, that we don't pay attention to those incredible issues and put our resources and energies at the beginning of this problem. But we don't mind putting incredible increases to issues having to do at the tail end, at the policing end. And I think that's my hope, that at least one of you, and it's my hope that Ms. Friedman would basically look at this issue and maybe take it on, because I haven't seen it, being handled or or a leadership type of coming from the other members to address this issue. This city needs proper funding to address all of the youth issues, because at the end of the day, we're all part of the same system. If we do not put the resources at the beginning, and if our nonprofits are not sustainable, and if the children don't have, and the youth don't have the resources for us to attend to them before the problems become major, we'll continue to have the budget deficits and the increases in policing part of the budget. Police and firing continue to have a major increase here in the city of Glendale as a larger proportion of the general fund. And so it is my hope that at least one of you will finally, for this coming year, take this on and perhaps have a summit meeting of some kind among all the leaders in the city and basically start tackling the issues of youth in Glendale. I think it should start with the city as, should we say, as leading as this city has been in terms of other issues concerning its finances. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have no other cards. Next item, please.
Any authority member or staff comments?
Comments, Mr. Minsky.
Just on a lighter note, today's LA Times, in the calendar section, you're mentioned. It's they're talking about Jay Leno and that it doesn't cost as much to do his show as the scripted shows. And it says, yes, it is cheaper to produce than the scripted shows, but so is televising the Glendale City Council meetings.
We're in there.
Yeah. That you get a kick out of that.
You must watch.
And I move we adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.
What day was that in?
Today,
In the Times?
calendar section.
I hadn't got to the calendar yet. So.